Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into the wild and wacky world of animals who love to get high. From dolphins to reindeer, these creatures have found some surprising ways to experience altered states of mind. So sit back, relax, and let's explore the top 10 animals who enjoy a nice high. Number 10. Cats. This is not so much an instance of an animal misusing a drug, as it is a misperception. If you own a cat, you've probably tried giving them catnip, also known as Nepeta cateria. This one, however, is a herb that is closely related to mint, rather than a medication like the others on the list. However, it does include a substance known as nepetalactone, which in certain cats may have a slight and transient stimulating effect. Certain cats are impacted by it and will get completely enamored with it. These are the most typical effects of catnip, though there are many more. In it, they will roll around, they will become extremely energized, or they could just start to feel really at ease. Dolphins are number 9. This is a widely used one that most people have most likely heard about. It is true indeed. The true monsters of the ocean are dolphins, who are vile losers who like getting high. They accomplish this by first encircling a pufferfish and then biting it softly in turns. The dolphins will do more than just nuzzle and bite the pufferfish. They will also hurl him out of the water and engage in a game of catch, ensuring that the pufferfish suffers severe trauma for the remainder of its life. And as you can imagine, this sets off the puffer's defensive mechanism, which releases tetrodotoxin, a poisonous poison, sending it into a full state of panic. It is among the poisons that kill the most people worldwide. In order to contextualize it, there is enough poison in one pufferfish to kill 30 adult people, or roughly 15 Americans of average size. Dolphins now know exactly how much of the toxin they can withstand without dying, despite the fact that it is lethal. In reality, they have been caught on camera circulating the buffer for 20 to 30 minutes at a time before allowing it to swim away. It's interesting to see how the toxin affects the dolphins. They appeared to enter a euphoric condition during which they became incredibly at ease and content, even being enthralled and utterly interested by their own reflection in the water. Birds are number 8. We are now approaching the ones that most people have never heard of, but have most likely seen in person. Have you ever seen a bird collide with a structure or a window? As you sit there, you start to wonder how it could have crashed, even with so much area to fly in. In actuality, though, it was most likely flying while intoxicated. Usually, this occurs following the initial frost, which triggers the fermentation of fruits and berries to produce ethanol, a kind of alcohol. Naturally, birds are aware of this. After that, they will consume as much of the fermented fruit or berries as they can in order to become fully intoxicated. In specific global regions, alcohol abuse is becoming more common. Consider Yukon, Canada, where a sanctuary for birds who have overindulged in alcohol has been constructed, which is similar to a drunken bird tank. Here, they are kept in small cages until they get sober. However, as soon as they succeed, they are let back into nature, where they can carry on drinking. Thus, keep in mind that a bird that isn't flying straight is most likely a degenerate the next time you encounter him. Honeybees are number 7. This one is comparable to number 8 in that it's unlikely to be familiar to most people. However, after learning about it, you'll realize that you have encountered it before. This one, however, ends differently and is a bit more violent. Ever notice a honeybee crawling on the ground without any apparent desire to fly? You see, nectar from plants has the ability to ferment and turn into alcohol when temperatures rise. Thus, when bees visit the plant to gather pollen and sip some of the delicious fermenting nectar, they lose all sobriety, becoming completely drunk. At this point, a bee may have completely lost control over its motor abilities and sense of direction. The unfortunate thing is that the bee will have to pass through the guard bees if it is able, by some miracle, to return to its hive. Imagine these guys as the hive's bouncers, except much more vicious, aggressive, and cold-blooded. There are 2 outcomes in the event that a drunk bee visits the hive. The hive will ban him for life, or he may suffer a terrible and excruciatingly long death after having his arms, wings, legs, antennas, and eyeballs severed. All of this is done for the benefit of the colony, since fermented nectar within the hive has the potential to bring the colony to an end. Number 6 is fruit flies. It has been discovered by researchers at a university in San Francisco that male fruit flies have poor rejection tolerance. According to studies, male fruit flies actively seek out alcohol when they are turned down by a possible mate. Number 5 is vervet monkeys. This is the last animal on the list that is appropriate for an AA meeting right now. And the only explanation for their high ranking on the list is that, in addition to being alcoholics, they are also blatantly repulsive crooks. These monkeys turn to a life of crime, stealing booze from tourists when they are unable to satisfy their cravings for fermented fruit. They're also really skilled at it. They lurk in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. And the first error someone makes is when they put down their drink. Because it's already too late if you turn aside. The monkey will already be slurping down the booze with its oily little hands on it. I will give them credit though, because they do have some of the best photos. Due to the severity of the monkey problem, the Caribbean island of Sint Maarten recently passed legislation allowing for the axing of all monkeys, all 450 of them. Number 4. Black lemur. No more pufferfish and alcohol. Time to move on to the really tough stuff. Who would have imagined that these adorable creatures from the island of Madagascar would become such vile and horrible beings? The black lemur mostly eats fruit, although it occasionally enjoys consuming a hazardous concoction of substances, including cyanide. When it comes across a millipede and starts to gently chew on it, it is able to eat this. The millipede curls up as a result, releasing a poisonous substance that keeps animals from consuming it. However, this chemical only serves as a warning to the boys that they are going to have an exciting evening. Unlike the other poisons on the list, there is one health advantage associated with handling this hazardous material. The millipede only needs to strike once before the lemur starts drooling excessively. They then start rubbing their bodies all over with saliva and toxins to ward off malaria-carrying insects. Don't assume it's all business though. The lemurs receive more and more hits from the centipede, ingesting more and more poison until they are entirely destroyed. When it gets to that stage, sleeping it off is the only thing left to do because they are so high. Reindeers are number 3. Do you recall that tiny red mushroom from the Mario video games? Its true name is Amanita muscaria, and as I'm sure you've heard, it's extremely toxic and causes extremely vivid hallucinations. But the Siberian reindeer don't seem to care about this. They actually go to considerable measures to find and eat it. After consumption and the start of the effects, they start acting really strangely. They eventually start circling aimlessly and start making odd noises. However, the fact that reindeer are negative role models for others is the only explanation for their high ranking on the list. People must have seen them consume the magic mushrooms since they looked like so much fun that we had to give it a try. Some became extremely high and had some of the most vivid and intense hallucinations, while some people lost their lives. Rather than saying, "You know why we took a loss on this boy, and we should probably stay away from these mushrooms going forward," no. Instead, someone had the wonderful notion to drink the reindeer urine, reasoning that it would neutralize the poisons while maintaining the effects of the mushrooms. And he was accurate. Following that, people and reindeer may embark on insane psychedelic excursions together. Some even think that this is how the origins of the Santa Claus narrative came to be. The magic mushroom Christmas notion is the name given to this idea. Second place goes to the jaguars. Even the top predator needs a vacation from mutilating and killing other creatures. They accomplish this by searching for the yag vine, which is a key component in the production of ayahuasca, possibly the world's strongest hallucinogenic substance. And as soon as the cat eats it and feels the effects, they start to change into a large, silly, inebriated kitten. BBC recorded this entire event several years ago. It's entertaining to see. The Amazonian indigenous people assert that the jaguars take this medicine because it sharpens their senses, which enhances their hunting prowess. They're delusional though. The cat just does it to learn stuff about the cosmos that he would not have learned otherwise. Number 1 of the list, parrots. Now, given the gravity of the issue, this one had to go last. These birds in northern India are so dependent on opium that farmers there have reported suffering enormous financial losses as a result of the birds alone. These farmers, who are granted special licenses to cultivate the plant for pharmaceutical companies, have made every effort to prevent the birds from consuming their plants. Furthermore, it's not unusual to witness a parrot take off with an entire pod of opium all to himself. It seems that a single parrot will visit and consume 30 to 40 bites of the opium milk each day. And the worst thing is that the parrots get hooked to opium the instant they realize it's a hard substance with actual negative health effects. As soon as they get addicted to it, you can pretty much assume they're dead. This is because the birds suffer from such terrible withdrawals as soon as the farmers harvest the plant that it ultimately proves fatal to them. It becomes usual to see parrots falling from trees and power lines. However, it doesn't end there. The vicious cycle begins anew the next year when the farmers plant the next crop of opium, similar to an endless nightmare. And there you have it, 10 animals who love to get high. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon so you never miss out on our future uploads. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next wild adventure.